Welcome to our webinar on Wageningen University's online Master in Plant Breeding. Today we will guide you through the features of this international program. My name is Anja Kuipers and I'm Program Director of this Master. And today I'm presenting with Jan Kees Goud. Jan Kees, can you introduce yourself as well?
Thank you, Anja. Yes, I'm Jan Kees and I'm a teacher in plant breeding, and I'm also the study advisor, so a kind of a coach of all the students in this online program. So that's a little bit about us, but we also would like to know where you are from.
Yeah.
So if you're logged in, you can see in the chat a kind of a poll with the question, where are you from? So it's from the Netherlands or from another country within Europe or from outside Europe. So, well, while we wait for the
votes
poll
are
results,
coming in already.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But in the meanwhile, we will go on and we'll see what we have on the other side of the screen.
So basically the topics for today's webinar. I will start with an introduction on Wageningen University, and Jan Kees will continue with a bit of information on the laboratory of plant breeding. And after that we will continue with the setup of the online master's program, the courses that it consists of, and Jan Kees will also explain about what it's like to study on the online platform that we provide. And I will finish with the admission requirements, information on tuition fee and other administrative aspects. Yeah, so Wageningen University, well, who doesn't know of Wageningen University? We score really high in international rankings, both for research as well as for education. So in the QS World University rankings, Wageningen University is #1 in the domain of agriculture and forestry. And according to the Times Higher Education World University rankings, we also score really high, numbers 64 at world level. Also our students really appreciate our programs. So this year we were awarded for the 20th time as Best University by the Keuzegids, which is a Dutch platform for comparing student appreciation of study programs. All the programs in the Netherlands are officially accredited by the Dutch-Flemish Accreditation Organization, so this also implies to the online Master of Plant Breeding. Well, over the years we have built a large alumni network with almost 70,000 alumni, really on a worldwide scale. And nice to know is that the Department of Plant Breeding actually is even older than Wageningen University itself. So plant breeding has a 111-year track record in the domain. Jan Kees, maybe you can address the domain of plant breeding in a bit more detail.
Yes, so this picture shows kind of the bubble of whole plant breeding, the research topics that we work on, and it's really diverse. So it ranges from breeding for resistance against pathogens and pests, for insect resistance. We have a group on quantitative aspects of plant breeding. We have dedicated groups doing research on ornamentals and mushrooms. Well, mushrooms are not plants, but anyway, we embrace them to be part of plant breeding. And what is very characteristic is that the research is very fundamental, but always with a very clear application. So results can often be used by plant breeding companies, or at least have relevance for the sector. For example, there's research on taste in tomato, so that's part of the Breeding for Quality research group. Well, we all know how tomatoes taste, but in fact it's very complicated how that is working at the molecular level, at the genetic level. So, well, there's a lot of research about that. So that's clearly indicating the practical application. And also all our model crops, or model species, they are crops. So that also increases the applicability of the results. So yeah, it's fundamental, but it's also applied. And as a research group, we also have breeding programs, for example, on quinoa and on potato. I think you once worked on that.
Yeah, actually,
as well.
I did my PhD on potato at the plant breeding department. So,
so that's good. And on mushrooms, so we have mushroom varieties even. So and we also have a dedicated group working on bio-based applications. So not breeding for food or feed, but for oils and fibers and substances, etc. So yeah, it's really diverse. And that's the group of plant breeding, but we are of course embedded in a much wider expertise at Wageningen University. So we have plant physiology groups, seed physiology groups working on technical aspects, for example, vertical farming systems or automated phenotyping, molecular biology. So yeah, that's all adding to the diversity that we have at Wageningen, and also adding experience and cooperation to the group. So that's a little bit about us.
Yeah.
And now let's get back to the poll to see where you are from. Okay, many filled in the poll. We have 42% from Europe, 34% from outside Europe, and 23% of the Netherlands. So yeah, we have a really international group here.
It's actually really representative of what we see in classes in the plant breeding programs. Yeah. Also a wide variety of nationalities. And I also see incoming messages. So good evening from Greece and good night from India. Yeah. Well, good evening from the Netherlands, I would say. Yeah. So that's nice to see that we have indeed people coming in also from Ecuador. So it's really an international audience that we are addressing in this webinar.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, I think we can continue with the setup of the online masters. So as I already mentioned, the online master also is a fully accredited master's degree. It's actually part of the Masters in Plant Sciences, and it has a track record since 2015. So actually this September we have started with the 10th group of students for the online program. So we've built experience over the years. And so with that we can really say that it's possible to combine study in the form of this online master with working. Many of the students in the program actually work in plant breeding companies, and some combine the study with other personal obligations. So it really enables a flexible way of study, and it also enables studying from home, as most of the education is taught online. And it's all hosted in an online community, which really supports studying, also in interaction with fellow students and with the staff members. So actually, as most of the education is taught online, it's really important that you have good basic computer skills, which is, I think, not such a challenge for most of you. Access to broadband internet is also really important because of the visuals, the graphics, and the videos that are part of the program. And you really need to be committed to engage in a virtual learning community. So the program offers lots of possibilities for online cooperations with fellow students and with teachers like Jan Kees, also to discuss progress during the study. It also means that you have to work with deadlines, and it also means that the exams are also delivered in the online system in a proctored mode of to make the exam secure. So these requirements are connected to the online study. And with our 10 years of experience, we can really say that it's a very feasible way of studying at master level in combination with your job.
Yeah. So let's look at the program a little bit, well, this is an overview with a lot of detail in it that we will come back to that later. But this slide shows the setup of the program during the first 2 years. So that's the large white block with all the nice colors. And it really shows that the program is fixed. So there's the blue blocks, the light blue blocks, they are courses. They typically last for 4 weeks and they have a clear starting date and also an end date. So usually they end with an exam or a large assignment. And so it's online, but it doesn't mean that you can just choose whenever you want to take a course. They are scheduled and the order is fixed. So there's also, you see, a dark blue color, and these are the Wageningen practicum weeks. So during the first 2 years, indeed, you will come one time per year for 2 weeks to Wageningen to do practicums. I'll come back to that later. So what you see as other colors, it's green weeks, and those are skills lectures and training. So altogether they make up one course of year 1 and one course of year 2, and in those weeks you are trained in skills that you can use for your study and also for your work. For example, finding literature, giving a presentation, argumentation, scientific skills, scientific writing, things like that. But also skills that are clearly focusing at studying together and reacting to each other. So online communication and giving feedback, for example. And also there's a technical skill on programming in R, because we use the R programming language in quite a number of courses. So we give some basics. And then the orange color, that's indicating where you can do the re-exams. So most courses have an exam, and it's not a disaster if you fail an exam, because one time per year you can redo the exam. And if you fail again, then in the next year you can do exam again, either together with the new set of students following the course or during one re-exam period. So yeah, that's more or less arranged for. And the gray blocks, those are holidays.
Also really important.
Really important around Christmas and during summer.
Yeah.
So that's the first 2 years. So that's offered in a part-time fashion, 20 hours per week, we always say, which is quite much. And after that, so when you finished the course part of the program, then you will do a thesis and an internship. And you can choose whether you do it in a full-time fashion and finish it in 1 year, or go on as part-time and then spread it out over 2 more years. So the entire program, it takes 3 to 4 years to finish.
Yeah. I think before you continue with the next slide, so we get remarks from good morning to good evening to good night. So we are really addressing the whole world. And I think now it's also a nice time to mention that if you have any questions on the information that we are providing through the webinar, you can also ask them in the chat. At several points we will make some time to address questions. The first question now is, what is the difference between full-time and part-time? So actually full-time study is what most of our on-campus programs are organized. That means studying actually 40 hours a week, mornings and evenings, mornings and afternoons, 40 hours a week. And the part-time mode of the online program means that you're studying at 20 hours a week. And that can be spread over the week when it fits best according to the rest of your agenda. but it's still a considerable study load to take into account. It's not really easy because it's also master level courses.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So one thing I wanted to add to this program, to the course part, is that well, I already said it's a fixed order, and there's one track for all the students. So if you compare it to an on-campus program, there's usually quite a lot of choice. And in fact, we have made the choice for you. So that's a disadvantage, but it's at the same time, it's also an advantage, because all the courses, they follow well on each other with respect to the knowledge. So the next course picks up where a previous course was finished. So you don't have a lot of overlap, you don't have a lot of knowledge gaps, which is always there in an on-campus study. So
you can basically be sure that all ingredients for becoming a plant breeder are included in the program.
Yeah, and also becoming, let's say, a PhD or a PhD student, or someone working in more applied research, for example.
Yeah.
So,
one remark before you can continue, I think the 20 hours per week includes the self-study. So it includes the knowledge clips, and the group work and the self-study.
Yeah.
So it's not more than 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
I think now it's best first to continue,
Yeah.
And then we can have another set of questions.
Yeah. Thank you. So let's browse a little bit through the courses that we offer during year 1 and year 2. Well, this basic course is really like principles of plant breeding, genetics, and advanced statistics. There's more advanced courses like breeding for abiotic stress tolerance, breeding for resistance, breeding for quality, and also some special courses like genomics and bioinformatics, experimental design and data analysis, things like that. And there's, at the end, it's not actually a separate course, but it's part of those green blocks that you saw in the previous scheme. There's a large integrative group project in which students design a plant breeding program. So that's really where everything comes together. So I mentioned the Wageningen practicum weeks that were there during year 1 and year 2. So what is that all about? Well, the most important aspect of that is that those are meant to train you the practical skills that belong to all the courses that have been taken up till then. So this includes greenhouse work, lab practicums, such as cloning or CRISPR-Cas or things like that. We also use it for students to give the opportunity to present on project work that they've done together. Of course, you're at Wageningen campus, so it's an ideal situation to finally visit the facilities. And also within the Netherlands, we have quite a large number of very good breeding companies. So we visit also a number of them. And of course, what you see is that students finally meet each other. They know each other already from an online setting. They know each other from clips. But it's really very funny to finally see how they meet each other. And for me as well, to finally meet them.
It's always an amazing moment, because they know each other, but from a different format, and then it's really nice to see that first moment when they all meet together really live in Wageningen.
Yeah. So of course it's also full of social activities. And during the weeks of the second year, which is already very close to the end of the studies, well, that's in the middle of this design of plant breeding programs assignment. So yeah, you can meet your advisors there and meet your fellow students there to work together, and also look ahead for the thesis phase. So if you're still looking for a thesis, maybe ask around and actually meet advisors, or if you have already made arrangements to to meet each other. So
we actually always try to plan our thesis market also during the Wageningen weeks.
Ah, yeah.
So that the students of the online master can also meet researchers from different chair groups.
Indeed. Okay, so that about the WUR weeks, and then about the master thesis.
Yeah, maybe first I received another question about the courses, whether the courses are lectures, for example, are presented at certain time points at the day, but most of the course information is available on the online platform. So you can really decide by yourself whether you want to study in the weekend or in the evening. And that also has to do with the international focus of the master. Because people, as I see now with the remarks coming in, are really interested in studying from all over the world. So also to facilitate studying in different time zones, the materials are available in the online platform. And obviously some of the meetings will be planned, but then we take into account the time zones of the students. Okay, so that addresses one question, and then continuing with the master thesis and the internship. So that's year 3 and 4, following the courseworks in year 1 and 2. And basically, as Jan Kees already mentioned, during the WUR week, we also help you in finding a thesis topic or an internship opportunity. So that's not something that you have to find out all on your own. The master thesis first is an academic research project, so and it equals 6 months when done in a full-time modus, and it's preferred to do the thesis in Wageningen because that is the most optimal and efficient way to guarantee sufficient quality of the academic work. But there are also options for a kind of what we call sandwich construction, where you do part of the work in Wageningen and part at the company or in your home country. And there are also possibilities if you are, for example, working in a plant breeding company to work on a project that is relevant for the company as well and supported by staff from Wageningen University. So then your company also benefits from your study in this master's program. This is all on an individual basis, so it's something to discuss with Jan Kees.
It depends on the situation, the possibilities, the facilities, and the supervision.
It's difficult to make a general statement here. The internship is a project related to professional practice, and basically, if you are currently working at a plant breeding company, then in most cases it is possible to use a project of your current work to meet the requirements of the internship. So in that case, you don't have to do additional work, but you can write an internship report with the reflection that is required there based on your own professional experience. So that can also save some time during the master. Let's see.
We have
an poll, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, another thing.
So it has some advantages if you already work in the plant breeding sector. And in fact, we had, when we designed the program, I was involved in that, we had such a person in our minds, someone working maybe at the bachelor level in a plant breeding company. What would that person need to take the next step in his or her career? So, but well, it's also very suitable for people in a very entirely different situation. So what we would like to know from you is, are you currently working in the plant breeding sector? Yes or no?
Yeah, answers are coming in already.
Yes.
So maybe we first continue now with the next slide.
The next slide. Because, 2 slides about required background knowledge. The slide is showing the cover of a book. It's a genetic analysis by Griffiths, and it's a 1,000-page book. And it is basically covering very diverse background that you have. Well, most students need to have before the studies. And one of the first courses is genetics, but it's only a 4-week course. And we assume that a lot of the knowledge on genetics is already there, or maybe it's for long time ago, and it has, maybe it's not so fresh anymore, or maybe you didn't have it all so clearly. So this is really something that we already during this webinar want to stress. This book is available. The first chapters are, you can already read them, because if you have to do everything during the master and everything would be new to you, then it would really be too much.
Yeah.
But if you have studied in another book, this is of course also okay. It's just an important pillar of plant breeding. Like the next one.
The same holds true for statistics. It's not everybody's favorite, we know that. But when you want to become a plant breeder, then statistics is really very important. And also here, probably you did have some statistics maybe a long time ago. So then it's also important to know that you can refresh your knowledge on statistics through buying the Statistical Methods and Data Analysis book already before the start of the master. It's also used during the statistics course that is part of the master. So it's good to refresh your knowledge in both plant breeding, genetics and statistics before the start of the master, to have a speed start possible. Maybe another question, so related to the thesis internship explanation, we got the question whether there's a specific order to the thesis and the internship. Maybe Jan Kees, from your experience as study advisor, can you tell a bit about that?
Yeah, there's not a strict order. What we usually advise, if it is more or less indifferent to the student, to do the thesis first, because in the thesis you are trained academically, so really do experiments within the scope of what's known in literature, testing hypotheses, etc., and also writing the report, and that often goes through a first draft, a second draft, and eventually it will build. So it's the complete package of academic training, and that you can then take with you as a student in the internship, which is also, it's more than just getting to know a company and getting to know the work. We ask also that the student will have a specific topic that is worked out, placed in the context of literature, with own data preferably, if it's possible, of course. So really at an academic level. And then also this report writing, it's less extensive. The supervision is not so intensive, so the student has to, it's more out of sight of the supervisor. And then this training that was done in the thesis, it can really be useful in the internship.
But I can imagine that this is the preferred order for students that are not yet working in a breeding company. I think if they are already working in a breeding company and use their professional experience for the internship, then I can assume that maybe the other way around can also be a good way to work.
Also for students who doubt whether they want to work in a commercial environment or maybe prefer the academic environment, it can be good to have an earlier internship.
Yeah. So it really depends again on the individual situation and preferences. Yeah. Okay. So to stress again that the program is not specifically designed for people that are already working in the plant breeding sector. It's also open, and we do have experiences with students who are not yet working in a plant breeding company, but maybe consider a career shift to plant breeding. Yeah. So it's all possible.
Yes, and that brings us to the results of the poll. Yeah. Because we see that 2/3 is in fact not yet working in the plant breeding sector, and 1/3 is breeding in the plant breeding, working in the plant breeding sector. So, that's what we. So what we offer is, I think, meaningful to both groups.
Yeah, for sure.
So the people who are not working in the breeding sector, they can be working somewhere else, which they might not think of as their ideal career, so a career switch. Maybe they just have a job, let's say a small job to maintain themselves while they do their study. It can be that they don't work at all because of other reasons. Obligations. So this is all possible. Yeah.
Okay.
So
next,
I will dive into the courses and how they are offered. So what you see on this slide is a screenshot of our learning environment. It's called Bright Space, and I just took one course, and if you can see in the menu, you can just see it, I think. On the menu on the left, you can see that it's split up in weeks. So if you click on week 1, it opens up, it unfolds, and if you click on 1.1, then it also unfolds, and you'll see a number of things. So this weekly task, it's 20 hours per week, but it's flexible within the week because it has very few scheduled activities. Only sometimes, as Anja explained, sometimes a group meeting for a group assignment, or something that you arrange yourself, or a question hour. But basically, so 99% of the program is already there for you. So it's not synchronically. So if you discuss something, and then maybe the next day a fellow student reacts, and you again react the next day. So it's up to you whether you work, let's say, on Monday and Tuesday, or on Friday and Saturday, or every day for a few hours. It's up to you. But usually deadlines are at the end of the week. So if we zoom in a little bit, for the next slide, we see a little bit more the components. Some examples are knowledge clips, usually with the slides to download, books, e-books, and other online material, scientific articles, individual and group assignments, discussions, self-tests, so only to test whether you're up to schedule or not. And if we dive into more detail, how does it look? Well, for example, on this scientific article, we want to have clear descriptions so that you will know what is the purpose of reading the article, and when is the deadline, for example, what you need to do and when it needs to be finished. And if you, so I cut out a part. In every item you'll see a clock, so a time estimation. So that's also an indication for you to have for the depth, or how long a certain thing will last. If it will take the entire evening or the entire afternoon, or just you can just finish it still before dinner or not. If you've done something, then for yourself you can check the box and move on. So it's pretty much prepared for you. So and also we have this skills modules. They also have the same amount of hours that it's needed. On these different skills that we already mentioned, they again contain the same type of material, clips, online material, assignments, but they usually are not tested with an exam, but with either an assignment, a portfolio, or a reflection report. So the purpose of skills is to have some theory, to practice again, to reflect, and to write that down, and to be aware and of the skills that you have and have learned. So.
Yeah, then some further information after this nice introduction to the program by Jan Kees. So yeah, you have to realize that it's an actual master degree. So that also requires some academic background to be able to start this program. And basically you need knowledge, bachelor level knowledge in the domains of genetics, plant physiology and statistics mainly. And some knowledge of cell and molecular biology is also really helpful. So yeah, pinpointing that to a bachelor's degree, most of our students have earned a bachelor degree in, for example, biology, agronomy, biotechnology or plant biotechnology, or life sciences in general. And with these programs, it's really those are really a very good preparation to start the online master in plant breeding. So because it's really master level, we also require a grade point average minimum of 7 in the Dutch scale. And on our website you can find all details on how this 7 average translates into grading scales of a wide series of different countries. In addition, all our master's education at Wageningen University is taught in English. So it's really important to prove, and it's actually also an admission requirement, to prove your English proficiency. And for example, we require an IELTS score of 6.5, with 6 for speaking specifically. And we also accept several other tests of English. And also here, all the details are available on our website. And in general, so our website is really big. So if you want to find something on our website, Google is really very helpful. Yes. So for example, admission criteria Wageningen University, if you type that, then you'll get to the right website. It is preferred to have relevant working experience, but that's not a strict requirement. And if you consider to apply, then it's important to realize that we have an application deadline of 15th of June via StudyLink, which is the Dutch platform for application to bachelor and master education. When you apply before the 15th of June via StudyLink, then you still have 2 more weeks to complete your application file at Wageningen University. And then the the admission committee will check whether you indeed can be admitted to our masters. And then other important information, study expenses and study grants. So this is an overview of the tuition fees for the upcoming academic year starting in September 2025. So for EU students without another Dutch master's degree, the tuition fee for next year will be €2,601 per year. For EU students that already have completed another Dutch master's degree, tuition fee is higher, about €8,000, and that has to do with a subsidy of tuition fees by the Dutch government. For non-EU students, the tuition fee is €11,660 per year. which is half of the tuition fee for the full on-campus programs, and that makes sense because it's a part-time study with half the study load. These tuition fees are subject to change. It's almost likely that this will be the price for next academic year, and the prices will also increase slightly year by year. On top of that, you will have to pay the travel and living costs for the 2 on-campus weeks in Wageningen. And yeah, we realized that studying comes with costs. There are limited possibilities for scholarships for studying this master's program. As for other master's programs, it's really a challenge to find a scholarship. So because of the limited numbers of scholarships available and the high numbers of interested students, this means that the possibilities to secure a scholarship are quite limited. And it's really highly competitive to achieve and realize a study grant to support your studies in the Netherlands. But yeah, if you're really interested and you qualify for the program, then it's worthwhile to find out whether you can maybe secure a scholarship for this program. I think that's about the administrative parts.
Yes, there was a question about it already. So if you, after the second year, decide to do the thesis and the internship in 1 year, so full-time study in fact, then the tuition fee increases.
Yeah.
It becomes the regular, so double from 11,000.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. And if you
split,
so if you keep on studying for
2 times 11,000.
Yeah. So, yeah. That was a question of Lina.
Yeah.
So there's more.
There's another question on the tuition fees regarding Switzerland, whether it's considered non-EU. I think Switzerland is considered EU.
I think so
but
too.
it's good to check that on our website.
Yeah.
So
it used to
no
be.
guarantees here.
Indeed.
But all details are very well elaborated on the website of our university.
I think I finished the last slide, and then we have plenty of time for Q&A afterwards, I think.
Yeah.
So just to summarize, so what we talk about here is an international accredited program. It's part-time, it takes 4 years. It's part-time, but it's very intensive. So especially if you do it next to a part-time job, or and maybe more than half-time job sometimes. But so it's gonna be a busy time. It gives you an academic focus on plant breeding, and that's a challenge, and that's something that you can be part of. So we invite you to do so. So, well, after this we will have time for general questions, but if you have very specific questions on your specific grades at your university or your situation, then please send them by email to this email address. So MPS is Master Plant Sciences, that's where we are part from. MSc, well, that's MSc, at WURt.nl. So mps.msc@wurt.nl. So you see it.
So we're looking forward to questions in our mailbox, and then Jan Kees and I will answer your questions on the mail as well.
Yeah.
But I see some more questions coming in.
So one question was if we train students to start their own start up their own breeding company. I have to say that we don't really do so much. I mean, it's possible, but if you already have a nursery, for example, then we provide the academic background, but it's really quite a big step. And what we have in mind in offering the courses is, let's say, working at a breeding company with some facilities, because breeding is really a long process, and in fact you have to make money on varieties that are already developed while you are doing new crosses and new selections, etc.
It's really a challenge to really start up a new business in that sector. Yeah.
So, but of course, if you go from production to seed production to breeding, it can be a gradual process. But we're not specifically. I think it was.
So another question, I see it coming back. I saw it popping up before already. Someone is asking about the individual online courses being offered that seem to overlap with the master's program. So actually, it's possible to go for the full master and really earn the master's degree. But we realized that it's really a challenge to go for the full 4 years. So it's also possible to start maybe with one of the courses and complete that to get a feel of what it's like to study in this program, and then use that to continue into the full master. So that's also an option. And there's also information on the website available for that option. There was another question, I think, on whether it's possible to do the thesis at the breeding company where someone works for in their country.
Yes, so we talked about it a little bit. In principle, yes, but and then comes a whole whole story. In principle, yes, we try to accommodate, but you'll always be under the supervision of a WUR staff member, and so if you work on a crop, for example, that is also worked on within our research group, then it's more easy to have good supervision than if it's a completely, let's say, a tropical crop where we don't work here in Wageningen. So then it's more difficult to...
It really depends on the individual situation, but it's not impossible.
So it's done.
We have seen really good examples of that type of cooperation.
And also it can sometimes be the start of something new.
A new cooperation between your company and our university, for example.
That's true.
I also see a question on disability support for students who need extra time for the assessments.
So that's in fact well arranged. So it's important that very soon after you are admitted to the program and actually will start, you contact the student dean, and then based on your what you need, it's often granted that you can spend 25% or sometimes 50% more time on the exams. And also you have, I think they call it relaxed about deadlines, something like that. This also, it's phrased in that way.
So we do have facilities for students who need extra attention or support. Another one, what would be the method of payment for applicants from other continents, such as America, for example? I think our Student Service Center has really very well arranged everything on the administrative side. And as we do have students from all over the world, I think it's very feasible with international money transfer to pay the requirements for the tuition fees from anywhere you are in the world. So that should not be a problem, I would say. Another question about the international accreditations of the program. So, as I mentioned earlier in our webinar, all master's programs in the Netherlands need official accreditation by the Dutch government, and that accreditation is also internationally accepted. So the master's degree a master's diploma from Wageningen University really has international value all over the world. And our graduates actually also are all over the world.
All over the world.
And very well appreciated for the knowledge they have learned here in Wageningen.
Yeah.
So let's see if there are more questions. Yeah, earlier I also saw a question on scholarships, and as I explained, that's really very challenging to get scholarships for any masters in Wageningen. Is it possible after this master degree to continue with a PhD? Yes.
Yes.
We have examples.
Yeah. But PhD programs in the Netherlands, they are always advertised, so we don't have large groups starting and hiring PhDs. It's not automatically.
No, that differs between countries.
Yeah. But the level that you have when you graduate is certainly high enough. Yeah.
And I think some of the graduates of the online master are actually working in a PhD now.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's very well possible. Yeah. Any more questions?
Okay. The difference between this program and plant biotechnology, I think Lina means the on-campus program, I think.
Yeah, so that's actually the main difference. The Master of Plant Biotechnology is only possible in Wageningen as a full-time on-campus program. Content-wise, there are links between the content of the Master of Plant Biotechnology and the online Master Plant Breeding, obviously. Also, as Jan Kees explained, the online Master of Plant Breeding has one single set of courses. It's all very well aligned, but it's a single set of courses. And the Master's Plant Biotechnology, like the Masters of Plant Sciences on campus, have more flexibility in composing your individual study plan. Yeah. So that's also an important difference, I would say.
So, for example, you have a set of courses and you need to take at least one.
Yeah.
And then, if you compare the programs of all students, then most of them they are always a little bit different from each other, or very different.
Yeah.
A lot of different thesis opportunities, etc.
Yeah.
So more. It's more.
Yeah, but I think that the main difference is full-time, part-time, and a fixed set of courses and flexibility in designing your own program.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, it was a relevant question.
Yeah.
Any more questions? We are also getting thank yous, so people really appreciate this webinar and also the answers to the questions. So maybe there are a few more questions. We still have 8 minutes available.
Yeah, and there's some delay in the timing sometimes. So you type in the question and then we don't directly see it. If we forgot your question earlier, maybe you can retype it. So we're still here.
Yeah.
So
and like Jan Kees told, it's always possible to send us emails with your questions also after this webinar, or maybe you didn't attend this webinar live, but when you watch the recordings and have questions, then it's also possible to contact us by email. Yeah. Not much more questions. So, more thank yous coming in.
Yeah, that's nice.
So, then I think we can conclude this, that we really provided the information that was useful for our audience.
Yeah, we also want to thank you for coming, for being part of this, and consider it. Consider other options as well, because it's not our aim to attract as much as possible high numbers of students, but we want to attract the students for whom it really fits. Yeah. So if you think it will fit, then we really invite you to consider it and to see if it's possible in your situation.
Yeah, so then I think I don't see any more questions coming in. So then I think, we can end this webinar. So thanks a lot for watching. And we hope that we provided the information that really helped answer your questions. And one more time, if you have specific questions or want to know more, you can always contact us by email. So thanks again for watching.